What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be explaining to you all the magical wonders of magical crops within Skyfactory 2. For me personally, magical crops was kind of a difficult thing to learn if you hadn't seen it before, and this was the first time that I had seen magical crops and used it in any type of a mod pack. So the purpose of this video is to basically go briefly over what magical crops are, how to use it, the benefits, the drawbacks, and some tips at the very end, which I hope will be very helpful to you, just from my experiences here in Skyfactory 2. Okay, so first off the bat, guys, magical crops involves crops, essences, and there's also some tools, some armor, and furnaces that we can utilize with magical crops. Now, the reason magical crops is so good in Skyfactory 2 is because there's no generated world around you. You have to make everything yourself. With magical crops, it can make it for you. Instead of you having to go through some crazy recipe, it's there. Now, I will say that magical crops does take some time and patience, but it is worth it in the end. Personally, I think it's the best thing that you can do to gain any type of resource. As you can see, I have an extensive magical crop plot. It's all automated for the most part, except for harvesting, and I'll tell you why later on during the tips. But now that you see all of that, I'm going to go over here to a regular plot just to show you. Basically, you don't need anything special. It can just be some dirt, water, and that's it. That's all you need. Now, when you're looking at magical crops here and on the right hand side, let's go through some of these items real quick. When it comes to these ores, as far as I'm aware, so far in this mod pack, I have not seen the ore anywhere because I haven't traveled to the Deep Dark or any other place for that matter. I've just stayed in the overworld. So these ores are not gonna matter to you. Now, these are all kind of crops in growth form. Don't worry about that. To start out, let me start off by talking about this right here. And my head may be blocking it, but this is Minicio Essence. This is the basic of magical crops. Everything starts with this. Minicio Essence is something that you can get from drops from mobs in a Skyfactory 2. Now, don't get rid of this essence. Save it as much as possible. It's very, very important. Now, you use this essence to make what is called a Minicio seed. That's how you get started with this magical crops. You need 9 Minicio essence around a regular seed to get a Minicio seed. And now, once you get that, then you will be able to start growing Minicio crops, which is these here. Basically, the Minicio crops do the same thing as any other crop. They give you, right here, actually, I have some right here, Minicio essence. They give you Minicio essence. Now, you use Minicio essence for everything else that involves magical crops. All right. And from here, basically, you can make, and I'll have them up on the screen, there's different tiers of seeds that you can make with different types of essence within magical crops. The very basic is a Minicio. And I'll put up on the screen what you can make with Minicio. Alright, so now that you've seen what you can make with Minicio, the next tier of essence is going to be this, Axio. Now, in order to make Axio essence to get the higher tier seeds, you need what's called a weak infusion stone. All through the tiers, they require a different type of infusion stone. And all you do is put the infusion stone in the middle, surround it with 4 of the essence, and it'll turn it into the next tier. Now, it consumes 4 to 1, so you are losing essence in the process, but that's basically how it goes. Now, to make a weak infusion stone, fairly simple. You're going to get some of these items through your sieving and everything else before you start magical crops, but this is how you get the basic recipe for the weak infusion stone. Now, as you go up in tiers, you have to upgrade this infusion stone and get the next level. Let me show you those as well. Actually, they're right here. Okay, for the first level, you start off with weak infusion stones. Then you got to move up to regular, strong, extreme, and ultimately you'll get the master infusion stone. The Master Infusion Stone is the only one that does not have any durability, meaning that you can use it forever. That's the one that I have currently. It was kind of a pain going through all these different ones because especially the weak one, it would break after a while and you'd have to make another one. But that's how you get to the next levels of essence. As you can see, to get to the Axio, like I said, you get the weak Infusion Stone surrounded by the Minicio to get Axio. Okay, for the one level above that to get Crucio, you need the Axio Essence and a regular Infusion Stone, the next level up. For Imperio, it's the same thing. You just go back one level, Crucio times 4, and then you get the next level up of the Infusion Stone, which is the Strong. All right. And for the final type of essence, this is the strongest essence in magical crops. This is Zivicio essence. You need 4 of the blue, which is the Imperio, and an extreme infusion stone. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because obviously you're going to want the master infusion stone, right? These are all different types of essence that you get with, I believe it's the Imperio seed set. You have to surround it with this, with the Imperio. Or it might be Zivicio now that I think about it. Let me see. I think it's Zivicio. Let me go to a diamond seed. That way I can show you. Okay, so it is the Zivicio. So you have to get the Zivicio essence. I stand corrected. For the Master Infusion Stone. So you need the Zivicio essence tier seeds. Get the resource from that. Surround it by an undamaged Extreme Infusion Stone. Very important. Do not use a damaged one. You have to make a new Extreme Infusion Stone. Surround it by any type of essence that involves Zivicio, and you'll get your Master Infusion Stone. Once you get your Master Stone, you're set. You do not have to use it for anything else. Okay, that pretty much encompasses the essence part that I believe. And you can go through all the different types of essences here. There's different tiers. If I have time, I'll be able to list them out for you as far as going from the Minicio to the Axio to the Crucio to the Imperio to the Zivicio, and yeah, I'll tell you what all those seeds will be. You can look them up here if you don't want to go through that. But okay, this next part, when you start planting your magical crops, one of the things that you are going to need, and I actually don't see it here. Not off the top of my head, but you're going to need a watering can. So let me go grab a watering can. Let me see if I still have mine. I believe that I do. Okay, I still got my watering can. What the watering can does is it kind of excels and speeds up the process a little bit for magical crops because they are pretty slow growing, much slower than normal crops. They cannot be used with a sprinkler to speed it up. It doesn't work. That's another thing that I'll tell you guys in the tips at the end of the video. There are ways to speed it up. This is the most basic way at the very beginning of your time with magical crops, is just to use the watering can. Now you water your crops as they're growing, and it has a chance to upgrade it to the next level, speed it up a bit. But you use a watering can. That's what you're going to use at the very beginning to get things going much faster. Let's see, what else? Let's go back to magical crops, not magical crops. All right. Furnaces. That is another very cool feature about magical crops, is that they have these furnaces here. Same thing. They go through the tier levels, the Axio, Crucio, Imperio, and Zivicio, but they have one above that called the Ultimate Furnace, which is what I'm using currently. To start with the Axio furnace, very simple. All you need to do is put a furnace surrounded by the essence, and you upgrade it as you see here until you get to Zivicio, and then Ultimate Furnace is where it gets kind of tricky because you need Zivicio blocks. Zivicio blocks need 9 essence each, which means it's a lot of Minicio essence, but I can tell you that it's very worth it, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I have my Ultimate Furnace over here, right here, and it's still running off of 1 coal. But let me grab something raw. Let me get a full stack of chicken. Let me just show you how fast this thing goes through. Boom. That's how fast the Ultimate Furnace is, guys. And it's amazing. So I would highly recommend getting that much later on once you're comfortable with your magical crops. What else here? Let me go ahead and bring it back. And the next part is going to be the armor, I believe. Okay, for magical crop armor, it's very much not really that worth it to get it until you get to the Zivicio level. Now, I will say this. It does take a while. It does take some patience to get to the Zivicio armor, but it is very, very worth it. This is what I'm wearing right now. Once you get a full set, you are able to have flight, as you can see there on the 3rd point, and you don't take fall damage. Now, the durability is amazing. It has a lot of durability. Protection 4, I believe. It might be 1 less than diamond armor, or around. It's almost comparable, okay? It's very much worth it. It's a little bit tricky to get. Let me see if I can bring one up. You need Zivicio ingots for that. Okay, Zivicio ingots mean you need 1 essence, iron ingots, and gold nuggets. Now, it'll be a while before you get to Zivicio, but if you can save up to get the armor, awesome. That is really good. This is the goal that you would definitely have for Skyfactory, is because you can fly around, no fall damage. It's amazing. Very, very good. Before I forget also, in order to get the extreme infusion stone, the two problems actually that you're going to have is going to be getting the nether star and getting 2 unstable ingots. Now, once you are able to do that, then everything else just kind of falls in place. It becomes so much easier. You get your master infusion stone, you're good to go. You have no problems whatsoever. Up there, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's where I have my wither area. I use reinforced obsidian so that it doesn't blow up and do anything else. I can fight them over there safely, and I get my nether stars, no problem whatsoever. Again, all of these materials that you're going to need to go to the next level, to get anything that you're going to need, is going to be in magical crops. It is amazing. Let me see, what else can I discuss with you guys? It's it's kind of complicated until you get into it, but once you do, it will make sense. I promise you that. Next thing is the tools. The only tool that I really enjoy a whole lot is these magical crop hose. I know, funny, right? But don't make any of them, or you can actually. I would actually highly recommend it now that I think about it. The reason that I enjoy this tool over any of the weapons, whatsoever, is because when you look at the Axio Hoe, you push shift to see the tool bonus. And as you can see here, you get an extra essence from Minicio crops. So instead of only getting 1 in return, you get 2. And once you upgrade to the next level, Crucio, you get 2 extra essence. Imperio gives you 4, and then eventually Zivicio gives you 8. 8 extra essence per Minicio crop. It's awesome. So that's for that. That is something that I would highly recommend. As you can see here, I have my Zivicio Hoe. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Let me harvest this plot of Minicio. Let me just show you. Okay, so there's roughly 64 and 12 is 76, I believe. Okay, so 76 Minicio plants. Okay, they're all fully grown. They're all ready to be harvested. And watch this. I'm going to shift and click because that's how I have my vein miner. If you don't have vein miner on Skyfactory 2, definitely should get it. Makes things a whole lot easier. Look at that. I got an entire row, which is 9, 10. I got over 10.5 stacks from one plot. All right. And I have my system automated to plant. So anyway, it'll start replanting the Minicio here in just a second. But that is why this Zivicio Hoe is the bomb. Okay. All this stuff, like I said, it does take quite a while to get to, but once you do, it's really not that bad. Let's see, what else? Magical crops. These seed bags, I don't use them myself. They just plant the seeds in an area. You can use it if you want to. Personally, I'd much rather automate it myself. But it's up to you. Whatever you guys are your preference is. Let's see. Next, there are these experience tomes. I haven't really worked much with them. I know that you can, use them to different things, but I haven't really touched it. I haven't really had a need to touch it, but it's there if you want to check those out. Let's see. Other than that, this is all just different types of seeds and essences. I think that pretty much covers all the basics of it. As far as this farmland goes, I've never used it. I have no idea what it's for. That's something I need to look up, actually. But I haven't had a need to use it. Okay, for the next part, the final part of this video, I want to show you some tips and tricks that I have learned to make magical crops much, much better. Number one, I know a lot of people will tell you to use the lily pad of fertility. I forgot the Y. Lily pad of fertility. This one here. Now, it is a very expensive recipe, especially at the beginning of the game. Supposedly, it's kind of not working very well. So I have not used it very much. I have a couple of them just to see if they work. And they do work, but somebody told me that they're not really working as well as they should be. So I do not use them. Therefore, instead of using lily pads of fertility, I use these growth pulsers. Now, it is a much, much easier recipe to use, especially once you're able to grow diamonds. That is going to be the key. When you're able to grow diamonds, these things are going to be a lifesaver. Now, the growth pulsar works a little different than the lily pad of fertility. I have a couple lily pads over here. Basically, the lily pad affects everything in the area directly around it, and to activate it, to make it go even faster, you use your watering can on it, and it'll grow the crops around it much, much faster. And supposedly it can go in a line. It'll affect the next one, the next one, the next one, all the way through. So it is really good, but for not this mod pack, okay? Instead, what I have done is I have made a ton of these growth pulsars. I put them all underneath the crop because they affect the, let's say the crop is right here. The growth pulsar needs to be right underneath that dirt block. That's how it affects it straight up. You can stack them down and it will accelerate it from there. I've only had the need to use one. I find that it's fast enough as it is. I have a lot of plots already, so personally it doesn't bother me very much to only have one, but you can add as many as you want. Test it out, try it out. Yeah, so that is going to be something that you'll use later on. Initially with magical crops, I will say that your biggest lifesaver on time is going to be using Tinker's tools. Now, for me, I use my obsidian mattock, which is here, and I put luck on it. You must put luck on your tool that you're going to use with magical crops. I use the mattock because I can just plow the land if I need to, and everything's there. Use luck fortune 3. Max it out on lapis. As soon as you're able to grow some lapis, or if you get a lot of lapis from your sieving, put it all towards your Tinker's tool. Why? Because when you get to fortune 3, it affects your seed return when you harvest a crop. Normally, when you harvest a magical crop, you only get one seed. Okay. When you have, I'll show you right now. Look, this is with just my bare hand. I broke the glowstone crop. I got one seed and one essence. Okay. Now look, when you use a Tinker's tool that is fully maxed out with luck, fortune 3, look at the return. I got 4 seeds per 1 essence. You can't get more essence, but you can get more seeds, which means you can plant more. And also, let me show you this. If you get enough seeds, you can turn the seed into another essence, so you get more resource. Okay, so that is awesome. Once you get more than enough seeds than you need, you can turn the excess seeds into more essence, which means you get more resource. Very, very important, very, very good. It's also a way not to make more seeds, because the price does get expensive, especially if you need more of anything in the beginning. All you got to do is use your Tinker's tool with fortune 3 or whatever fortune you have at the time. It'll give you an increased output of seeds, and you'll get things much, much faster. That's tip number 1. That's the one that's really it's going to save you time. Number 2, you're going to need those growth pulsars, like I said. For me personally, I like to automate my system. As you can see here, I use this lava tank and that lava tank. And that's also the reason why I don't have a harvester on any of them, because I want to use my Tinker's tool, because I get much more in return. And let's see. So if you have some type of power generation there and you're able to hook them up, I use magmatic engines because all my power runs through lava. The growth pulsars are underneath all the dirt blocks. That's basically the majority of what I've done here. I use planters to plant the seeds for me, and then I harvest it myself, and it just makes things a whole lot easier. But I think that's really the main source of tips that I can tell you is just the growth pulsars, the tools, Tinker's tools, the armor, the Zivicio hoe. I really think that's the basics of magical crops. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Hopefully this all makes sense to you guys. I know it's a lot of explaining and not really showing, but it's something that you have to do yourself to figure out, but hopefully my commentary has helped you out a lot, helped you get through some things that you might have been struggling with in magical crops. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll catch you later.